I'm Honorable Dr. Bode Oyorinde. I represent Owo, Ose Federal Constituency. I'm from Ondo State. I'm a member of APC and also a NEC member too. I think you will agree with me that Nigeria has a new corporate image. Other nations of the world now look more positively about Nigeria, particularly when you score us on the anti-corruption stand of the federal government. Take it or leave it, it is no longer business as usual. The government might not have satisfied Nigerians at large, particularly when it comes to economy or infrastructure, but this is a function of available resources. The excuses have been that, well, we have to first get rid of corruption, we have to first secure our people, fight Boko Haram to a standstill, and come back to the basics of infrastructural development. And gladly too, that some 2 years ago, the economy of the nation ran into recession, but within 4 quarters, the economy gladly came back on board. I think whether you look at it from the point of view of 3 years of President Buhari or the entire 19 years of democratic experience, I think we have fared well. Nigeria is doing very well. We might not be right there, but those that are right there, if you want to compare our democracy with that of America, you'll be comparing just 19 years against over 300 years of democracy or other nations of the world. So we might not take 300 years to get there, but we still have to take our time and build and be allowed to make mistakes, be allowed to correct our mistakes and forge ahead. This is my opinion about the democratic experience. On all fronts, Nigeria is doing very well.
Okay.
Well, honestly, those are very bad examples of how to fight anti-corruption. One that to be honest about it. But when you talk about writing an exam, you don't have to score 90%. If you score 70% of an exam, it will have been said that you have made a distinction. Generally, in this country today, you cannot just dip your hands into the covers of government any longer. Everybody knows that the government is a no-nonsense when it comes to anti-corruption. But let me deviate from the ECU because I might not be particularly qualified. There are some areas that give me concern as a politician, as an academic, and as a Nigerian. Our political structure is not properly standing. Politically, if you look at Nigeria, it appears that our politicians have not we conduct the affairs of political parties, the way we conduct congresses of parties, which is foundation of political elected positions. Honestly, the politicians need a change of attitude to actually justify the claim that democracy is the best means of governance. If we continue the way we are going, if we destroy the foundation of political administration, that is, we don't allow democracy to work at party levels, and some people will hijack the machinery of congresses so as to control the political structure for elected positions, then we are not serious. It means we are not developing. And that is why we must also be thinking of a legal regulatory framework that will regulate the activities of political parties. Just like we have the Independent National Electoral Commission that conducts election to political offices from state government, state governors, House of Assembly, the representatives, and senators and the presidency. There is the need to have a body established by parliament, by law, that will regulate the administration of political parties. As at now, political parties are on their own. As soon as you get a license from INEC, how the political parties operate, they are operating in the wilderness. There is no regulation. That's why political parties can stay for 1-2 years without holding meetings, and the Central Working Committee will just be there without the net meetings. And when you are organizing the conventions, you do what you like, and the people will be crossing from one party to another because they have been changed in their political parties. This is the area I think we need to improve if we want democracy to thrive in Nigeria. There is an urgent need for a legal framework and statutory framework for regulating and administering political parties in Nigeria. Well, to be honest, the present legislature and the present executive in the last 3 years cannot be said to be having a cordial relationship. It is a threat to democracy itself. A situation where the president of the Senate is continually before the courts for one allegation or the other, a situation where police will refuse invitation of the parliament, a situation where the parliament will refuse to clear a nominee of president, and such a nominee continue to act in acting capacity, a situation where appointees of the executive flagrantly refuse to honor the invitation of the parliament. We will say that these are good omens for democratic development. Under democracy, there are three arms of government: the presidency, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. A situation where they cannot work hand in hand, where there is no harmony, and the separation of powers are not clearly respected and defined, cannot all go well for the growth and development of democracy. This is what every stakeholder must be careful of. If you think that the individuals that are now in these institutions, you don't like their face, first and foremost, we must build institutions and not individuals. It is not Uhuru in the present instance. It's not a good moment. It's not a good moment. There is no cordial relationship.